All right, let's dive into an idea that sounds a little weird at first. Why the art of skipping content is actually a sign of fantastic web design. It might seem counterintuitive, but we're going to see why building shortcuts on your website isn't just some nice to have feature. It's actually a cornerstone of thoughtful and truly accessible design. So, to really get a feel for the problem we're talking about, let's do a quick thought experiment. Just imagine a super high-tech building. But to get into any room, you first have to punch in this long 40-button sequence on a keypad by the door. The first time you do it, you might think, okay, kind of cool. The second time, it's already getting annoying. But imagine by the 10th room, it would be completely exhausting, right? You're just trying to get to the meeting, to the actual reason you're even there. Well, that exact feeling, that repetitive, frustrating barrier, that's the daily reality for millions of people just trying to browse the web. That panel of 40 buttons, that's the top of a website that hasn't been designed with them in mind. Okay, so let's put a name on this. It's often called the 40-link problem. And it's this hidden obstacle course that can turn navigating a website into a serious chore, especially if you're not using a mouse. And that number, 40, isn't just pulled out of thin air. It comes from a real-world example of a news site. I mean, think about it. The site logo, the main menu, the submenu, the search bar, all that stuff repeats on every single page. For someone using their keyboard, that means hitting the tab key 40 times before they can even get to today's headline. And if you rely on a screen reader, a tool that reads a page out loud, it's even more of a grind. It's like being forced to listen to the same 200-word intro that you've already heard a dozen times today just to get to the new information. So, how do we fix this mess? Well, the great news is the solution is incredibly simple and elegant. It's a fundamental principle within the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG. And it's all about one beautiful idea: letting people bypass all that repetitive stuff. The whole concept is to create what's called a bypass block mechanism, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a shortcut. It's a simple way for a user to just say, hey, thanks, I've seen the header, I know the navigation, just take me straight to the good stuff. Now, the goal here isn't about hiding your navigation or getting rid of it. It's about creating an express lane. It's about acknowledging that people visit lots of pages on your site and respecting their time by giving them a direct path to what they actually came for, the unique content on that page. So, who does this simple little change actually help? Well, the impact is huge, and it can totally transform the web experience for several groups of people. First up, you've got people who navigate pretty much only with a keyboard. This could be because of a long-term motor disability, or it could be something as simple as a temporary injury that makes using a mouse a real pain. And honestly, we can't overstate how important this is. For these users, tabbing through dozens and dozens of links on every page isn't just annoying. According to the official guidance, it can cause severe physical pain. A simple skip link directly removes that physical burden. It's a massive deal. Okay, next, let's think about users who are blind or have low vision and depend on screen readers to tell them what's on the page. For them, a bypass block is a release from just auditory fatigue. It lets them skip that monotonous laundry list of the same 40 links and get right to the article or the product they came to hear about. It just makes the web so much faster and more enjoyable. And it's good to remember that these tools, screen readers, alternative keyboards, things like that, are all called assistive technology. They are the essential bridge that connects so many people to the digital world. So when you design for them, you're really just designing a better web for everybody. And finally, let's talk about users with low vision who use screen magnifiers. These are tools that zoom way in on a small part of the screen at a time. So if your entire view of a web page is through a tiny window, trying to find where the main article actually begins can feel like a frustrating scavenger hunt on every single page. A skip-to-content link gives them a reliable, predictable landmark so they can just jump right there without the visual searching. Okay, so now that we know why this is so critical, you're probably wondering, is this hard to do? And the best news of all is that it is incredibly simple. There are basically two main ways to build these digital shortcuts. Yeah, the solutions pretty much boil down to two main approaches. The first is what we call a direct link. Think of it like that express lane that just flies past all the traffic. The second is using good structural markup, which is more like having really clear signs in a building that help you find your way around. So the most common way to do this is with a skip link. It's literally just a link that you put at the very, very top of your page's code. A lot of times it's invisible until you hit the tab key for the first time. You activate it and boom, it jumps your focus right down the page to the main content. So simple, but so incredibly effective. The other way is really just about using good coding habits, using proper HTML headings to break up your content, and something called ARIA landmarks, which are just digital labels for sections like navigation or main. These allow assistive tech to understand the page and provide its own shortcuts for users. And really, all of this points to a much bigger idea. Putting these features in isn't just about checking a compliance box. It's about shifting our whole mindset to creating a web that's just more respectful and considerate of everyone who uses it. So, here's the most important takeaway. By providing a simple way to bypass repetitive blocks, we are fundamentally handing control back to the user. We're showing respect for their time, their physical comfort, and their mental energy. We're letting them navigate our digital spaces on their own terms. In the end, it really all comes down to a simple question we should ask about everything we build for the web. When someone shows up, is your front door an obstacle course, or is it a welcome mat? Are we forcing them through a bunch of hoops just to get inside, or are we offering them a clear, direct path to where they want to go? That choice makes all the difference in the world.